Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. It's another all new news channel that we've got in store for you today, looking at some of the biggest headlines that are buzzing around the world of football right now. But as always, like I always say, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things always and very greatly appreciated. But for right now, let's dive straight into the headlines of what is going around the world of football right now. We begin this video by looking at what could be Newcastle about to make their second signing of this January transfer window. Reports emerged yesterday that the Magpies were very close to making Burnley striker Chris Wood their second signing of this January. And in a growing news story, it's being said that today Wood will undergo his medical at Newcastle. The man in the know, Fabrizio Romano, tweeted yesterday that Newcastle will pay full release clause to Burnley for Chris Wood, fee around £20 million, personal terms already agreed, deal to be announced this week. Newcastle could sign another striker this winter if they find a good opportunity or talent. In a growing, like I say, this story is continuing to grow and develop. Sky Sports have reported that that release clause is at somewhere in the region of £25 million, so on and so forth. But the bottom line here is basically Newcastle are on the verge of completing this deal. We know that Newcastle have obviously been in the market for a new striker, even without the news that Callum Wilson will be out for a couple of months with injury. We understand that they always wanted to improve their attacking options and bolster their attack. Obviously, they are fighting relegation right now, so anything will help. A very direct striker will probably have to put up with being a second choice striker when, of course, Callum Wilson does return. And again, it's not the most exciting of transfers by any means, given obviously Newcastle's newfound riches. But he will be a useful player nonetheless. He has Premier League experience, he has a strong aerial presence, hence why he's very direct. The thought of a Kieran Trippier cross being got on the end of by a Chris Wood header or something along them lines obviously makes for interesting reading, and I think is part of the reason obviously why they got him, to add a new dimension to their attack. I don't think he will single-handedly, of course, turn around Newcastle's fortunes this season, but he will, like I say, offer a different dimension. He will offer an outball for the defence should they be a bit under the cosh, so to speak, in big games. And I think that his hold-up play and the way that he can bring others into the game, the likes of Alan Saint-Maximin in particular, spring to mind instantly. I think that it will prove to be a decent addition and help them in a different way, in a different kind of style to what Eddie Howe may be kind of used to. So I think it's a helpful and useful signing. Nothing major to jump out your seat at or get really excited over, but a very useful one nonetheless. Of course, this deal still needs to get over the line and be done and dusted, but it seems, like I say, that Newcastle are on the verge of making their second signing of this transfer window. So, massive breaking news as I was making this video, that comes from Aston Villa, and they've confirmed that a £25 million bid for one Lucas Digne of Everton has been accepted by the Toffees, and he is set to undergo his medical today. We know that Aston Villa have been pursuing Lucas Digne for the opening days of this transfer window now. We talked about this story a lot. We know that Villa have been chasing the French left-back, but we also know that a lot of other Premier League teams have also been monitoring this situation as well, especially after Digne, of course, had that public falling out with his manager, Rafael Benitez. Hasn't been seen in the Everton team ever since, and Everton have made their intentions clear that they wish to get rid of the French fullback. Obviously, like I say, several teams interested. Aston Villa are one of them, and it seems that Villa have seemingly won the race to sign him. He is set to undergo a medical today, and if everything goes well and everything's done and dusted by this point, it could be by the end of the day that this deal actually does get confirmed, given the green light and crosses the line. But of course, as we know, deals normally take a bit longer than that, so it's probably going to be in the coming days that this will eventually get over the line completely and everything will be done, dusted and settled. Simply put, it seems that this is all tied up now. We can finally lay this saga to rest. Like I said, I've talked about it before in previous videos on this. Good left back, good attacking fullback, pace, power, strength, good left foot on him. Also very good from set pieces. I think he'll fit very much in at Aston Villa under their new manager, Steven Gerrard. Next we go to another interesting story revolving around one Jesse Lingard, as apparently his representatives have been contacted by Tottenham for a move in the summer. This story comes from Alistair Gold, a Tottenham correspondent who claims Spurs could be lining up a move in the summer transfer window for the current Manchester United player. Lingard is of course out of contract with United at the end of the season, and it seems that his days at Old Trafford are coming to an end. He of course went on loan last January to another London club in West Ham, and it seemed that reignited his career after a series of consistently good performances, scoring 9 goals and assisting 5 times whilst playing for the Hammers. But despite being linked with a move away in the summer, a move didn't materialise. Lingard has found it difficult, therefore, to break into the first team at United, whether it was under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the beginning of the season or even under new manager Ralf Rangnick right now. And it seems he's going to be leaving United in the very, very near future. It's being said that Spurs could be looking to try and resurrect Lingard's career, as well as add to their squad depth and also boost their homegrown numbers. But of course, between now and the summer, Spurs really could face competition from other clubs supposedly that are going to be interested in the 29-year-old signature. Let's face it, free transfer, Jesse Lingard, we know he can have purple patches. We know that he, as much as sometimes we banter him and as much as sometimes we take the mick and everything, he does have a tendency to turn up in big ways during big periods of the season. So it's just a case of what goes on with his future from this point forward. Like I say, Tottenham, I assume, will be one of several English clubs that will be interested in him. He does kind of suit that sort of level, I guess. I assume West Ham may be back in for him, given that he's going to be a free transfer. Other clubs, like I say, may be interested as well. So I think there are plenty of options open for Jesse Lingard regarding his future. Next, we turn our attention to Chelsea, and could Emerson be returning to the club early from his loan spell elsewhere? Reports have emerged over the past couple of days that the on-loan Chelsea left-back Emerson could be recalled to the club this month, after obviously everything that's going down at Chelsea right now. The Italian fullback is currently on loan at French club Lyon, and but due to the Blues' issues at left back, with obviously Ben Chilwell getting injured for the remainder of the season, and there not being a lot of cover in that particular area, with current left back Marcos Alonso being the only senior left back available for the Blues, it seems that the Blues are trying to recall Emerson to cover for that position. It's being said that the call actually does lie with Lyon in this matter as to whether or not he can be recalled by Chelsea. It's been reported that Lyon have actually rejected 2 approaches from the Blues in order to recall their player, with the Blues said to be offering the French club up to €4 million in compensation for his early return. We've known of for Chelsea, they've wanted to sort out their left-back issue this January transfer window. They were once interested in Everton fullback Lucas Digne, but that move has seemingly gone a bit quiet on that front. And let's face it, this move for Emerson to call him back will obviously be easier on them financially. Will save them a lot of money in the short-term future, and it could be an interesting opportunity for Emerson in particular to try and save his Chelsea career, because let's face it, he does pretty much seem out the door at Stamford Bridge right now. Maybe he could convince Thomas Tuchel that he could be the man to challenge for a starting role as a starting left wing back, as obviously Chelsea play 5 at the back. Either way, it will be interesting to see what happens. It does seem that Emerson wants to stay at Lyon, but of course anything is possible and could happen in this transfer window. Elsewhere last night, there was some Premier League action as Southampton thumped Brentford by 4-1 at St Mary's. Jan Bednarek, an own goal from B's goalkeeper Alvaro Fernandez, Armando Broja and Shea Adams were all on the score sheet as the Saints beat Brentford to move up to 11th in the table. The win was a perfect way to kick off a new era at the Saints at St Mary's, as this was the first home game and first Premier League game since being taken over last week, and with their new owner Dragan Solak watching on from the stands, they couldn't have asked for a better start to life together. A very good 3 points for the Saints indeed. Also yesterday saw a very sort of a brief update, not even really a development really, because let's face it, when it comes to Mohammed Salah and this interview that he gave yesterday, his stance really hasn't changed to his contract situation. So there was something that came out yesterday, but nothing really major, not really a major update in that respect. Salah, who's currently away with Egypt, of course, at the African Cup of Nations, who, by the way, got off to a really bad start yesterday with a 1-0 defeat at the hands of Nigeria, has obviously a contract with Liverpool that runs out at the end of next season, and the whole Salah contract saga continues to rumble on, with both Liverpool and Salah seemingly locked in these negotiations over a new contract at Anfield. But there's not really been much of a breakthrough yet, despite his consistency, despite his unbelievable goal-scoring ability since arriving at Anfield several years ago, and how he continues to raise his level seemingly game after game, season after season. Liverpool and FSG don't appear willing to be giving the Egyptian winger whatever he wants, and in particular with his seemingly wage demands. Salah's interview came out yesterday in which he basically said, "They know what I want. I'm not asking for crazy stuff. I've been here for 5 years now. I know the club very well. I love the fans love me, but with the administration, they have been told the situation, it's in their hands now." It's basically what he's been saying throughout this entire saga. Nothing has really changed in that regard, but of course it was a relatively new interview that came out, so of course the media has sort of picked up on that and began talking about it again, as have I, seemingly. But I do have to reiterate that I don't understand why this deal hasn't been wrapped up yet and put to bed. It seems a very simple decision, in my opinion, to give Salah a new contract and give him whatever he wants, because he genuinely deserves it. He's particularly carried Liverpool on his back for the past couple of years, but overall in his past several years of being here, he's been extremely consistent, and his goal-scoring ability for a winger is unbelievable. It is absolutely phenomenal. I just don't understand why this deal hasn't been wrapped up, especially after his performances this season in particular. I have been, and I still remain pretty confident that Salah will eventually stay, and that both parties will strike up a deal that suits everybody, and that Salah will stay on at Anfield. But the longer this drags out, of course, the more that doubt starts to creep into the mind. There's obviously a lot that can happen here. Salah could simply sign a new deal. Liverpool could look to cash in on the Egyptian king before his contract expires. They may allow him to run his contract right the way down to the final day, or Salah may eventually feel undervalued at the club and seek somewhere else and go to someone else who obviously will value and appreciate him for what he's worth. And if it is to be the latter of those options, then FSG, who aren't exactly popular with a lot of Liverpool fans, will be made even more unpopular and will probably face a lot of backlash for letting that happen. Either way, we wait and see what the future holds for one Mohammed Salah. But of course, as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you're going to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of any of the news stories that I've talked about in this video? What do you make of Chris Wood on the verge of signing for Newcastle? What do you make of the Jesse Lingard situation? Where do you see his footballing future lay? What did you make of the Emerson situation? Will he be returning to Chelsea or will he stay with Lyon? What do you make of last night's Premier League action? What do you make of Southampton's victory over Brentford? And what do you make of the Mohammed Salah situation? Will he sign a new contract or will he be leaving Liverpool very soon? I'd love to know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it down below in the comment section, because I'm sure it'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another New-Newz video, and I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video.